We got ourselves another upcycle art project. I've done a couple of these already in the past, and they have proven to be so much fun. Back when I moved into this house over a year ago, the owners left us a few little trinkets, one being a crusty, smelly old curtain that was hanging in the bathroom, sagging by its holster, ready to give up on life itself. I looked at this curtain and thought I could make some art with this. I'm going to attempt to take this old curtain and transform it into some sort of wall decor. Because it is the holidays, I think I'm going to do some sort of Christmas theme. But you can take whatever we're learning here and apply it to basically any topic that you want to do when it comes to painting on a curtain. We're going to do an experiment, see how this goes, and hopefully we'll have ourselves some good art to display. Let's go give it a shot. Apparently, this used to be an IKEA curtain from Ring Bloma. I think I actually want to make a scene that is a full-on scene. So here's what I'm thinking. A winter wonderland background setting, a snowman off to the side, looking up into the wintry, flurry sky, and it says, "Season's greetings." Or some cute like that. I think that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go do that. We're gonna go do that thing. As you can guess, this curtain is old as hell, and since it's been chilling in a bathroom for God knows how long, I needed to clean and sanitize the heck out of it. You can either throw the fabric in the washer or spray it with a distilled vinegar and baking soda, and then hang or wave it around frantically like an invalid to let it dry. I also found a ton of hair in the fabric, so some handy sticky rollers will do just the trick to grab all that butt hair out of the fibers. Look at all that. Now I was ready to sketch and compose my art piece onto this freshly cleaned surface. Because this is a loose fabric, I used a large canvas that I had in storage and laid the curtain on top of it to act as a hard surface to draw onto. Using colored pencils, I sketched out the general composition of my scene, taking the time to feel out the lines and make a few adjustments as I went. Now it's time to prep the curtain for painting. At first, I wanted to skip this part, but my inner Picasso kept saying, "Just so that," and when Picasso talks, Amanda obeys without any question. I ended up using a really cheap dollar store white and blue acrylic paint mixed together to prime my curtain, but in retrospect, gesso would have been a bit easier to use and manage. However, both accomplish the same thing, prepping your curtain fabric so it won't slurp up all your good paint when it comes time to actually paint. So I primed the entire fabric area with the help of a 2-inch nylon flat brush, making sure to keep the curtain tight and wrinkle-free. Oh, and warning, primer will seep out onto the other side of the fabric, so you're going to want to use a drop cloth, or in my case, portions of my back canvas. It worked great with just a few blue streaks as carpet souvenirs. Now comes the really fun part, adding color to my painting. This is where I let loose and added various colors onto my curtain, and the application was as smooth as silk, thanks to the priming. I went totally Bob Ross with my brush approach, painting the background in crisscross strokes to give me a blended hunk of the sky. Then I added color to the carrot nose and hat, and then took a much needed break to let my paint dry. I proceeded to continue more painting on day 2, this time propping both my canvas and curtain onto an easel so I didn't have to bend over like a cow to apply my paint color. So much better on my knees and made for a smoother painting operation. Now for the snowman body, I decided to try a slightly different approach with my palette knife and heavy body acrylic paint, spreading it like butter on toast to give my snowman that extra oomph of sparkly clean white that I was looking for. It paid off, and with a few smoothing strokes with a wet brush, I got a fine looking glass-like snowman bod. Now, why 2 days of painting, you ask? Well, because I am working with acrylics, the more layers you build, the brighter and more saturated the color will become. And because I was using a lot of paint on the first layer, it needed to fully dry before I could slap some more layers onto it. So with 2 coats, I was really able to make my color stand out and slap as many eyeballs as possible. Plus, I wanted to add some nice highlights and shadows to give my scene more depth and character. Another reason why I waited for my acrylic paint to dry is so I can make my touch-up layers, and the layer underneath will pretty much disappear. So I did a few touch-ups back with the blue to cover up any oopsies that I have done in the process, and it worked beautifully. And here come the details, adding snowflakes. I have a confession to make. I initially tried to use my acrylic pen to draw out the snowflakes and words on the curtain, but there was no juice left in it whatsoever, so I ended up making an outline with the pen and then paint over it with diluted white acrylic paint and an angle brush to get the colors to really stand out. I used the same technique to write out "Let It Snow," adding a few little embellishments to give it that extra holiday feel. And then you just can't forget the What are these? What are they made out of? And 2 eyes made out of coal. Coal. One must not forget the coal eyes and the coal smile. And because I just can't help myself, I sprinkled some pretty glitter onto my snowman while the paint was still wet. If the paint has already dried, simply adding another layer of white or even Mod Podge would have done the trick very, very nicely. And I also added a few little glitter specks onto the stars as well, because why not? Now I was ready to hang this curtain. Luckily, the ring bloma curtains have 2 eye rings on the top, which were perfect for stringing twine through and making a tight hanging line. If your curtain is just a flat piece of fabric, you can roll a tiny piece of the fabric at the top so it makes a sleeve, hold it down with hot glue or hem tape, and then run a string or ribbon through the sleeve so you can hang it. That is how I turned a crusty, smelly bathroom curtain, destined for the trash, into a fun work of art that I can use and enjoy year after year for all eternity. What did you think of this upcycle project? Would you try it? Comment below and let me know, my darling Queen Bee.